What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. We have quite a few things to discuss today. Quite a few things and quite a few interesting things. I woke up this morning, I saw links to Sander Berge, and I thought I was having a fucking nightmare. I thought, oh, no, go back to sleep, Nick. What are you doing? Shut my eyes. No, it's reality. It is reality. We're linked with Sander Berge. We're definitely going to talk about that and discuss the midfield options because they are really exploring at the moment, and we might just find ourselves in fucking Lidl with some of our targets. But we'll discuss Sander Berge. I'm going to give him a fair crack. I'm going to discuss him as a player and what he could offer United. And how I feel about that signing, but I've probably already given that away by now. I'm also going to talk about Sancho's deal to PSG potentially being back on, which is fantastic news for United if that does go through. Joshua Zirkzee's done an interview with The Mirror, I believe it is. There's a couple of interesting little bits from there, how he feels he is as a player and what he can, how he can affect United's squad. We've had an update on Aaron Wan-Bissaka, which is very reminiscent of the Maguire deal last season. And also, excuse me, 1 second. Get that cough up. And Chido Obi-Martin is in Manchester. He's going to do his medical. And that deal should be done, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. So, yeah, that's a fantastic deal to get over the line. Although not many people may be aware of it yet. But that kid is a very, very talented kid. Loads of yous in the chat. As always, I appreciate you brothers and sisters. I hope you're all very, very well. And I promise I will dive into your opinions, likewise on TikTok, on Sander Berge and the midfield situation. So do get them in and we can have a conversation about it. So, as always, you know the script, guys. I will read out the article for you lot and then we'll have a conversation. So, this is coming from The Athletic. This isn't Pete, Bob, Bill in a room in Cardiff who were just making up transfer rumours to, get the fix or whatever. This is legit news. This is this guy's definitely a target for Manchester United. So, Sander Berge is under consideration at Manchester United and club officials have made contact with his camp. Burnley are prepared to sell. United are doing work on a number of midfielders, including Youssouf Fofana, Martin Zubimendi, Sofiane Amrabat, and Sander Berge. So they're the 4 targets that they are kind of switching to now. With the deal collapsing on Ugarte, which we went live for last night and discussed it in depth. So hopefully you didn't miss that show, but if you do, check it out after this one. Yeah, like I said, I woke up and I thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was in charge again. We saw this news kind of surfacing around, was it 2020? I think it was, with Sander Berge, and it was constant links there. And even at that time as well, we sat there saying we need a defensive midfielder, and people are almost desperate. It's like, right, let me just level out here with you. At that time, I would have took Sander Berge because we had Mick Fred, and that was just a disastrous partnership. So he's a lot more of a 6, and he's comfortable there. So you would take someone in that position in that case, right? With the situation that we was in at the time. Now I'm like, he'd probably be better than Casemiro, but he isn't a first-team player. He shouldn't be starting. I mentioned this on Twitter before. This is like going from Ugarte to Sander Berge is like going from Natalie Portman to Fizz from Corrie. You know what I mean? That is a huge downgrade, in my opinion. As a squad player, I wouldn't mind it. If he's 10, 15, 20 million, whatever it is, they've gone down to the Championship, Burnley. He's a good, solid player. So, 10, 15 million, I'm fine with it as a squad player. But then you're thinking, well, you might as well sign fucking Amrabat then, because he's going to be a similar price, 10 to 15 million. He's already played with the squad. There's going to be no kind of transitional period. He's there. He wants to join. So that makes more sense, again, in my humble opinion. Like I said, Sander Berge, good player, can hold his own. He's happy to sit in front of the defence and screen. Good defensive volume, aerially very good, but I'm not convinced on his ability to cover large spaces. I think he's been all right for Burnley. Was probably one of Sheffield's best players, but I mean, that's not even an accolade. It's not a feather in your cap, is it? You're one of Sheffield's best players. We shouldn't be signing a fucking player from Sheffield. Anyway, the one question, anyone who's a bit here or there or whatever about this signing, and maybe some people are convinced on it. I'm not saying you're wrong. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. That's what football is about. But ask yourself this question right now about Sander Berge, okay? Would City, Arsenal, Madrid, Inter Milan, Bayern Munich, Barcelona sign a player like this as their priority midfielder target? If the answer is no, then why the fuck are we going for him? That is what I would say. Maybe Inter Milan or something would get him in as kind of that rotational player. but no one's signing it. You look at like we're trying to compete with the teams near the fucking top of the table and in Europe, and God help try get back up there. Signing players, if it is to believe to be true, Sandberg as your main six, that's going to be your guy going forward to compete with the likes of Rodri or Declan Rice or fucking Chouamini, or do you know what I mean? It's nonsense to me, absolute nonsense. Rotational, yes. First team player, not a chance. Right, let's see what you're all saying, legends. Hope you well, Nick. Looking forward to the show, mate. Good afternoon, all. Yep, Dan, Richard, McMillan, as always, legends. Sam in the chat as well. Done diddly squat today. Been staring at my laptop and phone, chatting football, and no, won't hold it against you. So many comments. I'll get into TikTok comments in a moment as well. I'm not ignoring them. I will discuss them. And we got a nice little get along gang hit. I don't know what that's going on there. Get along gang, right? Okay. Real Red community is something we always wanted to build. Absolutely. All you lot of sound just as important. Nick, Sam, Shreyas, and the others. Thank you. So many nice comments. It's winter here in South Africa. It's 30 degrees. Cooking. Oh my God. Right. So many. Amrabat would be more of a sensible choice for me, says Jay McGrogan. Dan Fenton saying, not heard much about him from Burnley, but heard he isn't the best centre defensive midfielder. I'd rather get Amrabat than him. I'd rather Collier in the team. Maybe Sander Berge, this is from UTFR, maybe Sander Berge will happen. Zubimende, too weak and expensive. Fofana, Neto Menu. Berg, Stack, Amrabat, good squad players. Stack could be the one. No chance would they. And Man United, we should not be signing Sander Berge, nowhere near as good enough for Manchester United. That's the stance that I've got in a minute. We've got Mihal, I think it is. How you lot don't have problems with FFP? Well, I mean, it's a good question. You look at how much we've spent on players in the past couple of years, and we've not really sold well. We don't tend to sell players, so I don't know. Again, it's such a tricky thing, FFP. They're changing the rules constantly around it. Obviously, the revenue that we bring in, United, we probably make about 600 million quid a year. And that's going to go up and up and up. And then the new deal with Snapdragon and then, a load of other bits. So we bring in quite a lot of money. So maybe that kind of balances it out. But I'm not a financial expert on them kind of things. It's a bit, I don't like diving into them things. Just I like talking about things that I know about players, about tactics and systems and stuff, rather than financial figures, because I'm a shambles with that. McMillan saying Sander Berge is 18 million. United must be looking at him because Bayern must be sticking to their guns for the lit price, so they need to up their price for him. Neto, shit shop from years ago. Surely you remember Neto's being Northern. Oh, Neto. Oh, yeah, fucking hell. I thought you meant Neto, the player. The winger, you're on about, let's go to Neto, where he buys his best goals, na 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 na, na na na. Yeah, I remember Neto. Neto used to be around the corner from me, where Asda is now. He has to kids skating in the car park, and I actually remember, I'll tell you a story very quickly about Neto, which no one was expecting on the show, and I wasn't even expecting to tell myself. But whilst we're on the topic, we might as well discuss it. So Neto, and this is back in my youth, yob days, I think I was about 15 or something. So my cousin lived around the corner. He lives around the corner from me, or lived around the corner from me, and lives around the corner from Neto, right? And they put all their stock at the back, and they had like a metal fence, but the gap was it was literally like that big. So, and they stacked like cans of Foster's, Strongbow, like big crates, and you could just slide it underneath. I know this sounds really bad, doesn't it? I was 15 at the time. I was stupid, young, naive. So anytime we wanted like a piss up on a Friday, or we was going to a house party, we're like, oh, we'll just nip Neto. People are like, what? I'm like, yeah, we'll just slide a crate from underneath. So Foster's, Carlsberg, Strongbow, whatever you were. All the shit ones basically was near the thing, and we used to just slide it underneath, and then we'd have a free night basically, even though we didn't like Strongbow or Foster's. So there's a little story about Neto, and that's what you get with Real Reds Talk. It's not just football, it can go anywhere. Was watching a few Burnley games now of Berg, and he's technically better than Amrabat and much quicker. His physique reminds me of Kane, but in the midfield. Yeah, he's strong. He can hold his own. I wouldn't say he's quick off the mark, but he can cover distance relatively quick once he gets going. Amrabat's one of those that obviously looks a little bit slow, and he's a similar one. Like when he gets going, he's all right. He can keep up, but off the mark, they're not the quickest. So it would be an okay fit, but I'm just not as your main signing, man. Bring him in as squad option, fantastic. That'd be great. But if you're announcing him, if you're going away from Uwarte and Zubamendi and these kind of players, and you're going, yeah, well, it's Sander Berge now, you're going to be like, oh, right, well, okay now. How much is it? I don't know if 5 is alluding to the crates of Foster's that we pinched from Neto, or if he's on about Sander Berge. If you're on about Sander Berge, 15 to 20 mil, I think. I don't think we're going to spend that much on him. Well, I don't know. Nick, it was probably only £9 for 24 anyway. Exactly. Yeah. So they're not losing out. And let's be honest, I was going to say Neto probably made a load of money, didn't they? But I'm sure they went like bankrupt. Or is there any more Netos in the UK in a minute? I don't know. I'm not sure. Anton Stack at Hoffenheim, checking him out. I will. That is a player I'm not familiar with at all, but I will definitely check him out. No thanks, leave him at Burnley. We're Man United, not Norwich. So, yeah, that's how I feel personally about it. I mean, it mentions we're looking at Yusuf Fofana, Martin Zubimendi, Amrabat and Sander Berge. I'd say we need two of them. Excuse me. So, if you're going to sign Zubimendi, sign Sander Berge as well. Or if you're going to, if you're going to sign Amrabat, sign Fofana as well. That's what I would say. I want two of them. I don't just want one of them. I always said I don't think individually one of them is perfect for the role. I think they've all got the flaws one way or another. If you compare Zubimendi with Ugarte, for example, Ugarte isn't as good on the ball and controlling the game as Zubimendi. Zubimendi's smart, he's tidy, he's a lot less selfish. I'm not saying Ugarte is selfish, but Ugarte is a ball winner. He's aggressive. That's typical South American. He'll get stuck in and he'll cover grass, which would have been probably preferable for us in the way we play this kind of high-pressing, directional, risky transitional game. Ugarte probably would have been a better fit, and that's why I'm a little bit gutted about it. So, I don't know. Depending on which player they bring in, they're going to have to switch it up slightly. Zubimendi seems just as expensive, though. He's 50 million release clause. He seems to be happy at Sociedad. So that looks also like a difficult deal to do. Yusuf Fofana is an interesting one. I would rather get someone like him as a second option rather than Amrabat or Sander Berge. But I don't know. I'm so confused in the midfield at the minute. I would not be convinced. Like, yep, look, we can't get Ugarte, so Amrabat. Here he is, your new signing, who was on loan last season. This is your new midfield signing. So, yeah. Who's that? Mike here saying we should sign Hjumland or Matt O'Reilly now that Ugarte is off. Interesting. Hjumland is one that if Sam's in the chat, he's a massive fan of him as a player. I'm sure Sam would be happy with that. But let's not forget, Hjumland also has a release clause of like 80 million quid, 70 to 80 million quid, I believe. So that's also a tricky deal to do. Rabiot for a season because he's greedy financially. Have we not got a chance as PSG wants Sancho swap deal with Ugarte? Everyone dropped a like. If you haven't yet, please do and subscribe. I still rate Cardoso's perfect from Betis, 22 physical Brazilian, played for USA. Milan offered 20 million, Betis want 30. Again, I'm open to discussions and I'm open to conversations about these kind of players, but I'm not convinced on the majority of targets that we've been linked with. Now, someone mentioned Sancho to PSG. Then let's move on to that topic because this is a deal I definitely want, and I think we need to get done. So, PSG held initial talks with Manchester United over signing the Jadon Sancho. Discussions over the conditions of a potential deal. Sancho could be open to a move. Personal terms not expected to be a problem, and I think we need something like this to go through to open up other possibilities. Getting Sancho off the wage box, £350,000 a week, and getting a 40 million fee for him, if we do that, would be perfect. Because the majority of you guys know we are extremely saturated in that position in the wingers. We've got Ahmad, we've got Garnacho, we've got Rashford, we've got Antony, we've got Sancho. There's probably others that I've not even mentioned. So we're okay in that position. We're absolutely fine. I mean, Bruno can even play out there. Mount can play out there. We are okay. So if Sancho goes, it's barely going to be a dint in the system because we've got plenty of options. And financially, it's massive for us. I think United were probably relying on a sale like Casemiro to go because his wages as well. And then Saudi killed interested. He was like, we need to pivot a little bit. But much like if you sell McTominay, you can reinvest them funds elsewhere in the midfield. Likewise with Sancho. If you sell Sancho, you're not going to reinvest that in a winger, or at least I hope they don't. You would then go look at centre-backs, or you would go look at more midfielders to bring in, and it would open up other possibilities. I mean, in a perfect world, again, someone mentioned it in the chat before, I think it was Dan, you would love to do a swap deal with PSG. You'd say, you give us Ugarte, we give you Sancho, done and dusted. The issue is, PSG want to recoup the money that they basically paid for him, if not a little bit more, so around 60 million. The wages, I think, is on half of what Sancho is on. So financially for PSG, that just doesn't make sense, and they won't do it. So, yeah, I mean, I would love that. But unfortunately, we don't live in a FIFA world. It's a football world, and swap deals are almost impossible to do as they are. But I think Jadon Sancho off the books to PSG, I'd love that deal. I think it's going to be difficult though. It's a tricky one. But he's on their list. He's on their list. So it's you know, if I was to rate it out of 10 now in terms of like how likely it is, I think it's pretty mid to cool that it will. But maybe PSG will step up their interest, and I don't know what the relationships are like as well. Like, you know, one, you've got the Ugarte deal where they're like, no, we want this, we're not paying this. Cool, you know, back off. So there's a little bit of needle there between two. Also, I think it was mentioned, PSG are Qatari owned, and we know what happened between Qatar and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So maybe there is a bit of friction there. I'm not sure. That's kind of going down conspiracy road a little bit. So yeah, Jay McGregor's saying give a 2.5 out of 10. Exactly. I don't think it's likely. I would love it to happen, but I don't think it's likely. Josh J says, I think we sell Sancho and Pellistri, especially since he's come off a good Copa America. Yeah, Pellistri's another one who I completely forgot about. I mean, talk about being at the bottom of the pecking order. He's going to get 0 game time. You've got two wingers worth 150 million quid on the combined 550,000 a week. And then you've got Ahmad, who's absolutely shining. You've got Garnacho, who can play over there. Pellistri's getting no minutes whatsoever. No minutes, and it's probably why Forson moved on as well. And then we've got other attacking players who can come into the fold and play in multiple positions. And that's who I'm going to talk about right now. Joshua Zirkzee has given an interview with the Mirror and talking about how he is as a player, what we can expect. And I'm interested to dive into this because I think Zirkzee is a bit of an enigma as a player. And what he says is, I am what I call a false striker, not a number 9, not a number 10, I am a 9.5. That's my game. Maybe I'm a little different than others, but being different is good, right? I think I have excellent skills. I spent a lot of time on that as a kid, but if I lose the ball, I want to regain it immediately. Ten Hag was sat somewhere strumming his thing. Want to regain it immediately with the team, but fancy footwork is part of my game at the end of the day. I think it's refreshing to hear that in a game nowadays, because I think the way the game's going, you know, the days of the Ronaldinhos and Berbatovs, you know, these like pure technicians who you love watching football on. I think the days are slowly going, because the way Pep's taking this game now, it's gone to a more kind of athletic, high press, don't lose the ball, don't shoot from outside the box, you know, like all that kind of stuff. And you're like, I love the days back, you know, Jogger Benito, fucking Total 90, all this shit, watching Ronaldinho in his absolute prime, fucking rainbow flicking people. That's my kind of stuff. That's nostalgic. That's what people love, and that's what football should be about. It's gone completely opposite end of the spectrum now. It's more like I said, high press, athletic, don't lose the ball, and look, if it wins you championships and trophies, like obviously teams are going to go that way. But I do love that purity about it, and I think Joshua Zirkzee is definitely someone who can bring that. Really excited about what he's going to offer. He offers something different. It's exciting. He's got a different dynamic. And I think he'll be a bit of a slow burner. I think it'll take time to adapt. I think the wingers need to get used to him as well, with Rashford and Sancho, etc. Someone mentioned FIFA Street there. FIFA Street, exactly. Those kind of players. Everyone loves them, man. Everyone loves them. And if Joshua Zirkzee can bring that bit of spice or a bit of harissa to your chicken, then I'm Rashford and Garnacho, etc. Very, very greedy players. So bringing in Zirkzee, who's not selfish at all, balances it out so much. He also goes on to say, I want to play a pure game. Nutmegs, chops, and back heels are moments that belong in football. That style has value for me. It's the soccer kid in me, because it's supposed to be fun too, isn't it? Yeah. Absolutely. I'm all for it. He has been training with the team. I mean, I'm not much of a nerd. I've been watching videos of it on him doing like the, I don't even know what you call it, like aerobic exercises. And yeah, really like, it's boring stuff. I don't think anyone would watch it. But I'm trying to get little glimpses of what I can see, little bits of him on the pitch, doing drills with Garnacho, Dallo, Bruno, competing against each other in certain drills. So yeah, I'm liking that kind of stuff. And I just can't wait. Lads, I promise you, I can't wait for Premier League football to start again. I missed it so much. There's nothing like it, you know, when the games are coming thick and fast, we're doing previews. I'm bringing watch-alongs back as well, by the way. That's kind of like a big news that we've completely forgot to announce. But when Premier League season kicks off again, watch-alongs are starting again. Best believe that. So, yeah. We're going to start doing them again. So, very, very excited. Can't wait to see how we set up. I mean, that optimism can be completely fucking taken out of you, can't it, by the start of the season if we lose a couple of games, and likewise as well. My mic is cutting out. Is it? Oh, right. 2 seconds, guys. Sorry about that. Apologies. Right, are we on again? Are we on again? Hopefully that's okay for you lot. Sorry about the microphone. And like, oh well, it's different with people on TikTok, innit? They don't give a shit. Well, it's not they don't give a shit. Anyway, I'm confusing myself here. On to Wan-Bissaka. Okay, let's talk about Wan-Bissaka because there's an update on that from Laurie Whitwell, which has confused me, but we'll talk about it anyway, yeah? West Ham have shown a willingness to pay £18 million for Aaron Wan-Bissaka and offer him wages within the reach of their top earners. But United must find a financial agreement with him to leave. United want to add this to the transfer fee. So one, this is like Harry Maguire all over again. I don't know if anyone remembers the transfer from last season. I think they had agreed 30 million. Yep, fine, perfect. And then there was a stumbling block. It was like, oh, Maguire wants more money. He wants a fee to move. He's on 200 grand a week. He's taking a significant step down. There's a chunk of change there that's missing that he would have got on his original contract. I think this is similar with Wan-Bissaka. What I want to know is why we was hearing prices quoted for 10, 13 million quid. Like, West Ham are unwilling to pay 15 what we want. And then Laurie Whitwell's there saying West Ham are willing to pay 18 million. You're like, hold on a minute. So are these other journalists chatting shit or is he chatting shit? And I wouldn't say Laurie Whitwell's chatting shit. He's usually pretty bang on with a lot of stuff. He doesn't put stuff out like it's nonsense or just a guessing game. Him and The Athletic, thrive off credibility. So this one's confused me a bit. To be honest, on the right back situation, I think Majari offers a different dynamic. I can see why they want to sign him. But also at the same time, I'm not that bothered whether he comes in or not. And genuinely, I'm not that arsed. So if it happens, it happens. If it's not, it's not. It's not like the Delit deal or the other ones where I'm thinking, like, please fucking bring him in, or Uwate. Like that got announced last night. It's not a huge priority for me, in my personal opinion. But let us know how you guys feel. I don't know. Maybe you feel different. JJ Okocha was awesome. Don't know how Bolton ever got him. Yeah, he's another fantastic example. UTFR says Zirkzee was the best pressing striker in Serie A, wasn't he? He was certainly up there. That's what I mean. When I think one, they're signing him for reasons already spoken about, but it's off the ball work as well. Like you said, in the way he presses, that's very important to Ten Hag. It's one of the reasons why he signed a player like Mason Mount, and I think them two together could work really well. Mike's fine on my stream. Okay, it might have been for a couple of people, so yeah. I remember the days of Scholes, Keane, Bruce, Yapstam, Rio Vidic, Beckham, Irwin, Cantona, loads more. Can't wait till we kick off against Fulham. Apparently, Rude and Hack done an interview as well. Well, let's talk about that. I'll bring them quotes up for you guys in a minute, and we'll have a discussion. The last thing I wanted to talk about before we get on to that, the quotes from Rene Hack and Ruud van Nistelrooy. Chido Obi-Martin. All set for Chido Obi-Martin's signature on contracts as a new Manchester United player. He's in Manchester ahead of his medical, so he's going to have his medical today, I think. Again, anyone who doesn't know anything about him, they're confused what kind of striker he is. I've never watched a clip of him. If they're thinking that, I have now because I've done analysis on him. There is a video out now, and initially we dropped it for members, but it's now open to the public for viewers. So check that video out. It's doing relatively well. People seem to enjoy it. So if you want to know what kind of player he is, likewise for people on TikTok as well, check us out, Real Reds Talk on YouTube, and you got your player analysis there. We go live twice a day. We've got football coming back. There's going to be watch-alongs. We've got interviews with special guests coming. So, yeah, very, very exciting times. And now is the time to become a channel member. Yeah, exciting talent. I'm not going to go into too much depth because I'll leave the video to you guys to know what he's all about. But in terms of a comparison, I'm not saying he's going to turn out to be this player, but Victor Osimhen is someone who I would compare him to. He's a big lad, scored the most goals in his league last season, the under-18s or 19s, I think it is, and 10 in a single game against Liverpool. So he's an exciting prospect. We nicked him off Arsenal, so if that's anything to go by, and he has a similar path to Van Persie, obviously very different situations. I'm kind of hyping it up a lot, but I'd be happy about that. I'm just happy we nicked him off Arsenal as well, just to say, because if he starts scoring a lot of goals, that's going to be one that comes back to bite him, hopefully. So, yeah. Dan, I feel like it's needless messing about and not vital right now. Snapdragon have already launched a bid for naming rights on the new stadium. All I'm going to say is the video was top, Nick. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that, brother. Majori's an upgrade on Wan-Bissaka. 240, technically miles better. Playing multiple positions. Brilliant going forward. Wan-Bissaka can defend. That's it. I agree with that. I agree. That's what... like, I'm not dismissing Majori as a signing, but I'm saying, like, look at that midfield, man. Would you rather go into the season with Wan-Bissaka as your second right back or Casemiro as your starting midfielder? That's what I'm saying. Like, there's priorities. If we can get the deal done, superb. I'm all for it. But yeah, I'm not overly asked. Unfortunately, this window wasn't going to be groundbreaking. We've got to be grateful. We have a football brain now, and that bit by bit in the next few windows, the culture, etc., will be changing. Let's hope so. Right, so I mentioned the interview with Rene Hack and Ruud van Nistelrooy. So let's see. These quotes will be a little bit scattered because obviously they're just coming in now. So I haven't got the full interview in front of me. I've just got quotes that have kind of come out. So let's go. There we go. Ruud van Nistelrooy. A new group of coaches, a new setup, but I think we got going pretty quickly with clear ideas to translate into the training pitch. We found a great momentum with other coaches, good vibes, a good feeling. Everything that you want to hear, absolutely. It's special to be back. When United first came in with the opportunity to become assistant manager, it was fantastic. I never thought of it, but it occurred. It was something that I could not refuse. Rene Hack, so again, I don't know if he's shouting this because the only clip people have seen of Rene Hack is him screaming at his players with Go Ahead Eagles, so maybe he's calmed down a little bit from now. But he says it's a long journey to be a coach. All the different types of roles I've had in coaching, the opportunity to work at United is a big challenge for me. To be part of that, to contribute to playing better as United. Ruud saying, I look back at the managers I work with because you're on a daily basis. Obviously, I had 5 years with Sir Alex Ferguson. They were unbelievable years. It was nice that when we met each other and spoke a lot about our philosophies and the way of work. So this is Rene Hack speaks about Ruud van Nistelrooy. We have a lot of connections. I think we can be very strong to help our manager bring the team to a higher level. On a collective level, it's important to get the different game phases into the team. What I expect in the pressing or the build-up on a mid-block. All phases of the game from there on, you look to make an influence on individuals and units. It's a good group of players. It's important to get them aligned with the system of play. The game model that we want is fantastic to be a part of the process. And there is other quotes as well, but let's just park that for a moment. I do think with pre-season, you have seen... You've seen an identity, you've seen a bit more of a style, you've seen more patterns. I think the pressing as a collective is much better. Defending as a collective has been fine, but there's been moments where defending transitions were still poor. And maybe that's in regards to individual talents like your Casemiros, or when you're playing Johnny Evans at the back or Lindelof or whatever, they're going to be glaring issues. It don't matter how much of a tactician you are, when you're trying to set up a certain way and you don't have the profile of players for that, you're going to struggle. But I do think you can see style and identity patterns. I think players are going to be a lot more accountable now under these coaches. They're not going to get away with as many things. And that is something that's been needed at United for a long, long time. We've had talent, come and go through the doors for the past 10 years. Players like Memphis Depay, Di Maria, Pogba, whoever it is, Sancho, Antony, who all didn't work out for a certain reason. But if you set the standards and you have discipline and you make players accountable by dropping them when they're not playing well and rotating, that's when competition breeds success. And if you're not performing to the level, you're out of the team. Simple as that. That's how it should be. And again, I think the way we are playing and the way we're setting up, it will suit certain players. We speak about Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes, Zirkzee coming in, Garnacho, Rashford when he's on it suits it. But players like Sancho, Antony, Casemiro, Maguire, systematically, just Wan-Bissaka is another one, just do not suit the system. Eriksen, you want to play a high-pressing game that's very aggressive with Christian Eriksen in midfield? Not a chance. Not a chance. So we still have quite a lot of players that I think we need to shift on, to be honest. But you guys already know that already. We should sell Højlund and play Sancho as a striker. I'm sorry, Lewis, but that is one of the worst comments I've ever seen in my life. We should sell Højlund and play Sancho as a striker. Jesus Christ. Sell them all and just play the academy players. Hiya, mate. The Lit and Majori done deal according to my sources. I don't know who your sources are. Maybe it's that off Mayo in the cupboard. But yeah. That nothing's been announced on that so far, so I'd rather listen to Fabrizio Romano and not Bahana on TikTok. Sorry, mate. What are we saying in the chat? Also, Majori played more games than Wan-Bissaka last season, so he's more available than Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka needs to go as soon as possible. Dan Fenton, get that, but not worried either. Jay Amas, no problem in playing there. Just think with Shaw and Malacia, that side needs attention sooner or later. Dallo was good last year. Wan-Bissaka is a sound backup. McMillan, Mazraoui, our inverted fullback to help with defence in the midfield. Yeah, Mazraoui is also used to Ten Hag's system, and so is De Ligt. Like, he's played under him before, and Mazraoui played his best football under Ten Hag. So you would like to think that he would get the best out of them both as well. Again, Ineos said he was going to go away from just basically signing players that the manager wanted, but it's hard to believe that when you're going for Mazraoui, who was a player under you at Ajax, you're going for De Ligt, who played under you at Ajax. You're looking at potentially signing Amrabat, who you worked with before. I think was it Go Ahead Eagles or was it someone else? So is it, or are you just signing players that you? Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm very confused with United in a minute. I'm being pulled one way and then pulled another. Give Onana improved contracts as legend of TikTok. Well, we're not at that stage yet. Amrabat for captain. Jesus Christ. What are people smoking in this TikTok live today? Mad, we brought 2 players are struggling for cash, waiting for our Wan-Bissaka sale for our next signing. Well, Wan-Bissaka sale, Scott McTominay sale would be great. Jadon Sancho sale would be great. But I'm struggling to see one of them happening in a minute. Sancho to PSG is so far away. Fulham, I don't think are willing to pay what we want for McTominay, so he may end up staying. Lindelof is very quiet around at the minute. I mean, he's interested from Turkey, but they'll probably wait until the end of the window to try and snatch him. We're struggling with sales. And again, that has a knock-on effect, has a domino effect on a lot of things that we want to do in the market, unfortunately. Mazraoui instantly makes our wingers better. Yeah, so on Sunday, we did a show specifically to go through what De Ligt and Mazraoui can offer in terms of, like, tactically going forward, how much of an upgrade they would both be on the players that we've already got. And I agree, he would open that right-hand side for us. That right-hand side has always been weak for United. Bringing someone like a Mazraoui in and having Dallo there playing consistently would open it up so much for players like Amad Diallo, who likes to cut inside. You can have an overlapping runs, underlapping runs, can drop into midfield if needs be. You can have a lot of rotation in there. And I think they're looking at that from a systematic point of view. You know, Mount can play as an 8, can play as a 10, can play on the wings. Bruno, we know, can play everywhere. Amad, likewise, he can drop into the middle. He can play across the front line, basically. Rashford, we've seen as a 9 before. I know he's not great there, but he can do it. He can also play on the left, and we've seen him on the right before. Sancho can play across the front line. Antony, Jesus Christ, just never, ever put him on the left. I remember last season, there's people saying, let's try Antony out on the left. And I'm like, all right, you think he's predictable on the right-hand side? Right backs are just going to show him onto his left foot. Because they know he's not going to cut in. They could just stand there and go, yep. They know he's not going to cut in and shoot on his right foot at least. I mean, I know he scored against Liverpool, to be fair, but he's very, very predictable. But we have a lot of players who can switch. Like I'm saying, from your 8 position onwards, we're pretty much fine. Then from your 6 position central defensive midfielder backwards, that's when it's a worry. Like I keep saying, we're going to score a lot of goals, but we're going to concede a lot of goals this season. 100%. And maybe our goal difference, again, will be 1 because we've scored 99 goals, but we've conceded 98. Could Amas manage all season if Shaw has another bad one? I don't know. I'm hesitant to push Amas too much. He's been great in pre-season. I still think his, in my opinion, positional awareness is a little bit off. And I think when you start playing him against, you know, world-class wingers like Bukayo Saka or when Foden's out on there, then they're the real test, and then you'll see what he's about. If you can hold his own then in the Premier League, then I'm open to it. But yeah, I do like Amas. Mazraoui, sorry, I already mentioned that. Mazraoui instantly makes, sorry, I keep saying the same fucking thing. Get their plugs numbers for me, Nick. They've got good stuff. Muppet said in his vid yesterday, if Bayern don't compromise and delay Ineos will walk away and then not get a centre-back. That is stupid. If you not to walk away. If you need to walk away to make a point, then it's fine. But if you just don't sign a centre back, what are you going to do? Are you going to start the season with Maguire and Lissandro? You've sold Kambwala, and then is Lindelof and Evans going to be back up until Yoro comes back? I think that's stupid. I think that's really, really stupid. We need a centre back. I know Brandtwaite's expensive. I know buying a and ahhing on De Ligt. I actually think that the price for De Ligt and Mazraoui is fair. What they're asking for, I don't think it's too bad. I think because United know that they're trying to get Jonathan Tah for 20-25 million, asking double that for De Ligt who they don't want, and they've publicly said he's okay to go and told their agents. That surprises me a bit. Like I said, I'd just go get Jonathan Tah, make them panic a bit, make him drop the price, and then go get Delit. Sancho, Anthony, and many more aren't good enough. I have a bad feeling about this season. Play Anthony at left back. It worked with Ashley Young. No, don't want to play Anthony at left back. I don't want to play Anthony at all. I don't even want him anywhere near the pitch. Sell him. That's what I'd do. They won't walk away without another plan. There's Inacio from Portugal, or has he gone? Inacio I don't think Inacio's that good from what I've seen. In terms of on the ball, I think he's one of the best in Europe. But physically, aerially, I'm not convinced. Branthwaite would be the perfect target for me. But for 75 million, not happening. If there was a choice now, honestly, from Delit or Branthwaite for 50 million, it'd be Branthwaite all day, every day of the week. 100%. He's robust, physical, quick off the mark, good on the ball, can improve, but very good on the ball. I think Fergie would have signed Branthwaite back in the day. I do. And I know they're not getting him. So anyone who's putting that in, I know they're not getting him. But he would be my ideal target. I'd prefer him over Delit, 100%. I think there are red flags with Delit that you don't necessarily get with Branthwaite. Do you think Zirkzee can start against City and Fulham? No, I don't think he will. I think you'll see Jadon Sancho as your false nine. At least for the first couple of games, which I'm not a huge fan of. I don't think he's mega effective there. I think he's okay there. But I think it's a bit shoehorning, to be honest with you. Didn't expect that. I would rather set up how we did against City in the final, to be honest. I'd put Bruno in there as your false nine. Sancho, I'm not convinced with at all. So, yeah, I don't think Zirkzee will start. He'll come off the bench, and if he's effective enough and shows that he's settled in quick, then maybe he will start games. But first couple, I don't believe so. Is McTominay really going to go? It depends on Fulham. If Fulham meet our asking price, then yeah. But they offered 20. I think the next bid will be 23 or something. You know, add-ons 2 to make it 25. United initially want 30. So it depends on both. And that's another tricky deal to do. I think we're a little bit paused at the minute, aren't we? We started off really quick. Everyone's bigging up Ineos. And by no means in the imagination am I slandering Ineos. I think they've done a good job so far. And I think the right to walk away from certain deals. But the issue I have, and I said this to Sam last night, the issue I take with it is we start the season in 10 days against Fulham. We play City in the Community Shield on Saturday. And there's still only 2 players through the door. 3 if you include Chido Obi-Martin, but he's one for the future. So Zirkzee and Yoro's injured. So there's 1 player there as your new signing who's going to take a while to integrate into the squad. So we've got the same team for the start of this season. Or less, because Amrabat's not even here technically. So, yeah, same team, for the start of the season. What's changed? You're going to see the same issues. Ahmad comes in, he looks a bit brighter. Fantastic. Casemiro's going to be even worse. Evans has gotten older. Maguire, he's not going to get any quicker, any more mobile. He's getting older. So he sat there like, ugh, I don't know. I'm not feeling positive for the start of the season. Maybe by the time the window shuts and we've brought in a couple more players, I'll be like, right, okay, let's start to cook. Let's see what we're really about. But I think the first couple of games are going to be tough. I'm saying it right now. Might just assassinate Sancho. Jesus Christ. Will United have insurance for him like he's an asset? Wow, that is strong for a 12 o'clock show, Jay, but I appreciate the comedy element of it at least. I'd play Zirkzee off the bench and play Bruno false 9. Kangan saying, what is even going on with the midfield market? What's going on with the centre-back market? More to the point, there is no market. The market is a blurred line at the minute. You know, City have bought 1 player. Arsenal, I think, have bought 1 player. It's weird. It's a weird market. Very, very strange. And maybe you'll see, like, a crash in the last week. You know, like we get your Black Friday deals, basically. I think the last week of August, you are going to see just a fucking monumental amount of signings just go crazy. I think that could potentially happen. I think there's a lot of teams waiting to really jump at the deals. Casemiro, as much as I love him, can't work in that 6. Casemiro looks as old as Evans. TTM says, if you want Bruno in the 9, who do you stick in the 10? Mount. Mason Mount. 2 players, not good enough. Ineos said they would back Eric Ten Hag, and at the moment, not happening. Where are the rest of the lads at? They're not on today. They're all working in a minute, I think. Sam's working, Treya's working, Chive, Aaron, Dan. I think they're all working. So, yeah, unfortunately, it's just me, myself, and I, Kangan. I do apologise. Sander Berge, here we go. Irfan, don't you dare do that to me. I'm not going to believe that, but I'm going to double-check Twitter anyway. Could you imagine? Jesus Christ. I've just started the show saying he's like Fizz from Corrie, so if we signed him, I'd lose my shit. Yeah, I knew it wasn't. He got me there. Anyway, thank you everyone who's just followed me on TikTok. If you would like to hop over to YouTube as well and subscribe to our football channel, we have loads of lads on the show. There's me, Shreyas, Dan, Chive, Adam, Sam, Aaron. Sorry if I forgot anyone. I'm hoping I've not forgot anyone. I think that's the majority of the lads. Yeah, lovely community, lovely group of lads. We're live every single day, twice a day. We've got members videos, we've got watch-alongs that are coming back, we've got previews, reviews, exclusive interviews with... Where's Jimmy? So yeah, hopefully you enjoy the channel. We always get good feedback, so that's nice to see. And yeah, we're going to be live at 7 o'clock again. You know the script, guys. A lot going on with United in a minute. If anything breaks like Awate did last night, we will go live. So stay tuned. Turn on that notification bell on YouTube. Drop us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok for people who are already on there. And yeah, I suppose we'll see you guys shortly. Who knows? Might be sooner than you think. Keep an eye.